Welcome back, everyone. I'm excited today to bring Jen O'Neill, who runs operations for Mosquito Nix, which is a franchise that is disrupting the mosquito space. So welcome to the show, Jen.
Thank you so much, Brian. Excited to be here with you today.
Awesome. So to get us started, what makes Mosquito Nix unique?
Yeah, so there's a variety of different differentiators with MosquitoNIX, but really the biggest thing that we're known for is that we specialize in permanent control through an insect misting system. So you'll notice in a lot of our marketing and advertising, we don't have a person out there with a backpack, Ghostbuster fogger on. Our misting systems is an actual technology that's installed around an outdoor space and automatically mist a safe solution to get rid of the biting insects, like obviously mosquitoes, but also ticks and fleas and flies and gnats and no-see-ums and all the fun, cool bugs that we got.
So your guys go out. So talk to me. What's it like? What's the product look like? So what I'm picturing is like they're installing these misters, and then there's a solution that's in the ground or above the ground. Like what does it actually look like from the consumer standpoint?
Yeah, great question. So when somebody walks outside into a property that has a MosquitoNIX misting system, the whole objective is that you don't even know that it's there, right? So we really build seamlessly into the outdoor space. Our clients really have invested in outdoor spaces. And so the last thing they want is an eyesore.
Yep.
Now, if you were to be outside while it was actually spraying, which is totally safe because the solution is safe for people, pets, and plants, I always relate it to being at the grocery store and then you're in the produce aisle and then you hear the boom crash lightning and then it mists over the produce. Okay. That's kind of like what you would see out at the property. And it's just for a short stint, about 45 seconds when the misting system actually goes off.
Okay. And how far are they placed?
Yeah, great question. So it depends on the size of the property. Our team, we have a customer acquisition center that handles all of our sales for our franchisees. And they actually design the systems for each installation when they are doing the sales. So they actually kind of outline exactly where those little nozzles or dispensers are going to be located around the property. And everyone is unique, right? Because every space is unique. How people use their space is unique. So although a property might be really big, that family or that restaurant might only use a certain area. So we're very focused on where it's the usable space.
Got it. So my house, like I got the front yard and the backyard. If we only hang out in the backyard, maybe we don't touch the front yard and it's only in the backyard. That instead of doing the whole perimeter, is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, for sure. We understand that people have a primary location in their home that they utilize often. And then they have other outdoor spaces that they use temporarily. So we have a temporary option that we can do for those specific areas and have more of the permanent insect misting system in the areas that you use on an ongoing basis.
Okay. And then I guess there's a tank, there's a 5-gallon bucket or something that's got the solution in it that's connected to the mister.
Yeah, Brian, you're hired. It's a reservoir unit that typically goes over by the HVAC, the pool equipment. We can even bury it as needed.
So it's one thing, and then you run the lines.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, underground and through like a trencher system.
It depends. It can go along eaves. It can go on gutters, raised paver patios, fence lines. Obviously, it can go underground into vegetation. But really, we design the system for the franchisees so that when they go out to do an installation or their team goes out to do an installation, they have the roadmap of where these need to be located.
Okay, awesome. What's the range of costs for a customer? Like how's the pricing model different? Because I mean, what you're disrupting is people pay for a subscription, right? Of $900, $800 a year, right? For somebody to come out every 20 days and do a spray around the perimeter. Like yours, well, I think what you're about to describe is like it's a higher upfront fee, right? Because they have to get this thing installed, but then on an ongoing basis, it's a much lower kind of cost. So can you speak to all like from a customer standpoint, what it looks like?
Yeah. So what's great is that there's annual recurring revenue in this model. And it really is on a monthly basis that they're receiving that. So you're spot on. There is a one-time installation and purchase. So the consumer is buying the technology and that includes the installation of that. On average, that's about $3,200 for purchase and installation. And then the reoccurring revenue that comes from that on average is about $130 a month. Now, one thing that's really cool that we haven't touched on yet, but we really are a 3-for-1 business model. So MosquitoNIX specializes in our insect misting systems, but we also offer pest control and holiday lighting and decor as well. So when we go out to do our misting system services, we will add on pest control for a very, very minimal rate, which helps the consumer to go, oh, I don't have to pay this other company another bill. Right. So it builds loyalty with the MosquitoNIX brand.
That's mice, or is that around perimeter? Spiders
so it's general,
and stuff?
yeah, general pest control, right? Your roaches, your ants, your spiders, silverfish, earwigs, kind of those just typical kind of standard pests. Still using all of our safe products, which is a really important feature for us. But, just something easy that they can add on that, again, adds massive value to the consumer.
Got it. Awesome. And so are you getting a lot of your customers, you getting them to switch from one service to yours, or are they new customers who've never had mosquito and then they like this option?
That's a great question. So it is a kind of a combo. I always joke that our clients love spending time outside. They haven't invested in outdoor space, or they are not calling us, right?
Yep.
So it's not the person that just wants to have a barbecue one weekend, or they use their patio once a month, right? Our clients have a pool, they have a patio, they have a pergola, an outdoor kitchen, and they either can't use it because the bugs are so bad, or they have tried everything in the block in order to then be calling us. So we have a mixture where they've explored, all the tiki torches, citronella candles, screen enclosures, temporary options. And then we have others that just are like coming straight to us because they've been referred by a pool builder or a friend down the street.
Yep. And how seasonal is the business? Traditional pest control is what, April to October-ish, depending on where you live, maybe a little longer in the South. Obviously yours sounds like we have some other business models. So what's kind of the seasonality of the business look like?
Yeah, that's a great question. Obviously, insects are seasonal, right, in their nature. Yep. What's nice is that our solution does target a variety of insects. So when you kind of think initially of Mosquito Nix, right, you're like, yep. Well, the Northeast doesn't have as many mosquitoes, but they have a lot of ticks, right?
Yep.
And Lyme disease is very real, and that's one thing that we see as a major benefit. Flies also, we see so many places, and this is more on the B2B side, right? Where we're installing misting systems around dumpsters of restaurants to keep flies out from flying in the kitchen and flying around an outdoor space, as that is a major health concern, with the Florida Department of Health and Ag and everything like that.
Yep.
So there is a seasonality to it. We see most of our misting systems are active usually for about 9 months out of the year. But obviously some of our warmer climates can be year round. But what's nice is how our reoccurring revenue is set up is we take the total bill and we divide it by 12. So the client is getting the same bill every month. They know what to expect, but also the franchisee can budget appropriately because they know they're going to be getting the same revenue bringing in every single month. Now, obviously we haven't touched yet on holiday lighting and decor, but that is a massive, we call it the 45-day sprint, right?
Yeah.
But, like in our Jacksonville market last year, 18% of total revenue was from holiday lighting and decor. So it's a massive part of the business for sure.
Yep. Yeah. And you guys have a great item 19 at the FDD that details out a full P&L. It looks like for your corporate cities, Jacksonville, Dallas. Those are all affiliates, right? Corporate locations.
Yeah. We have 4 conforming markets that are listed in our item 19. And you'll see, 3 non-conforming markets as well. So we have all the information there. If people have any questions, it's a great resource to look at.
Yep. Can you talk a little bit about the history of the company? How did you get started? How long have you been in business?
Yeah, that's a great question. So mosquito or misting systems in general have been around for, over 75 years, started in the horse barn industry, actually, to get rid of flies. So again, going back to that as a kind of initiator, my father-in-law has a background in reoccurring revenue when it comes from insurance. And he came across these misting systems and got involved with MosquitoNIX back in 2003 in Dallas, Texas. And no intent of this becoming, I think, a full-on family business, but he has 4 children, and all 4 are involved and have been involved we joke that he got the cheapest labor out there by getting everybody kind of out hanging door hangers and yard signs. And so we've all been involved for a very, very long time. My husband and I, Mike, came to Jacksonville a few years ago to open up a corporate office and kind of work out any of the kinks, but really get the full effect of opening an office from zero. So over the years, over 20 years, we found a lot of efficiencies. We created our product company that supplies all of our products and our solutions to our corporate offices and to our franchisees. So it's very tight, controlled process, which has been very fruitful. So
awesome. And so so you guys you have a patent, or there's some IP around the solution which covers, it's safe for, what'd you say, kids and pets and plants, and then the same solution kills flies, mosquitoes, ticks, some other ones, I assume. I guess what's stopping Mosquito Joe or one of the other big competitors from copying this model and doing the misting systems and their current solution or whatever? Like what's the roadmap there?
That's a great question, Brian. So I think when it comes to there's a lot of competitors in this space, right? I joke, but we attended a pest control conference back in November, and there was 100 different pest control companies in attendance. And the speaker said, raise your hand if you treat for mosquitoes. And everybody raised their hand. And then they said, raise your hand if you treat through an insect misting system. I was the only one raising my hand, right? And it's the reason of mosquitoes and these outdoor insects, as outdoor enjoyment areas have grown so drastically in our residential home space. People have seen a massive opportunity to tack that onto their business. And it's easy, right? You get a guy, a backpack fogger, they go and spray. Installing misting systems is an educational component. And that's both on the your employee side, but also on educating your clients and your consumer on the differences. And so I think that a lot of the industry in general have not tapped onto that because it's something that they don't want to have to re-educate their team, their clients, and it's not really their overall focus. We even saw back in 2003. You can buy a misting system off of Amazon, but there's a ton of product failure. And so us making our own misting systems, making them smart technology, has been absolutely game changer for our business. And I think it's a pretty costly and big endeavor that I think a lot of brands, aren't willing to take.
Got it. And then so from the technology standpoint, can people control it with their phones?
Yeah. So one of the beauty of it is that you don't have to do anything with it. Again, our whole intent, I laugh, but our actual consumers, I say are DFY. They like things done for you.
Yep.
They want it, set it, forget it, and it will spray automatically. But it's a fun party trick. They have an app on their phone. They can click it anytime they want to. On the back end, the franchisees have a ton of data. They can see exactly when the misting system is spraying. They can adjust spray times. They can see the duration, the pressure, the levels. They get an actual alert when the levels are dropping below certain rates. And that alone has made it where we can drastically cut our direct labor because we know exactly when we need to go and service one of our systems.
That's interesting. Yeah, it's funny. I got a friend who lives in Dallas, and I was telling him about you guys because I had this coming up. And he's like, yeah, I think I'm a customer of theirs. He's like, I got this thing on my phone. He's like, it just like, I can control it. So he's like, if I have people over, he's like, I just like pause the system so it doesn't spray when like people are out there.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, it's, I'm pretty sure he's a customer. He fits your profile of the type of customer I think that you would have.
Yeah.
But anyway, he had nothing but good things to say.
I think it's great that he doesn't even know. I mean, I would love for him to be promoting us, right? But I mean, that's the ease of it, right? It's just like, it's set it and forget it. And they don't have to think about it. It's not like we're bothering them with a ton of employees all the time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
The guy leaves like the gate open and your dogs get out. And, like, all the
you don't
stuff,
have to deal with all that. Right.
Yep. What's it cost for somebody to get into one of these?
Yeah. Are you talking about from a franchise level?
Yeah, from a franchisee perspective.
Yeah. So the initial investment is anywhere from about 120 to 155 all in. So very affordable and quick ramp up. So we can get started in about 8 to 10 weeks.
Okay. And how big is the territory?
So 60,000 households with over 100,000 income. So they're the largest territories in this space by far. And really that's the intention, is to target a more affluent kind of customer. So we don't want people to feel like they're strapped by the area that they're servicing.
Got it. Okay. And then is there a certain time that someone has to get on board? Like even now, I mean, it's April, they wouldn't get in towards kind of the end of the season. Like, is there like, are we past the window, or when's the window that if someone's into this thing that really should be the time that they're diving in?
Yeah, that's a great question. So really, because of the different aspects of our business, there's not like a downtime, I would say. One of the beauties of MosquitoNIX is that it does provide the MosquitoNIX Elves holiday lighting and decor. And I will tell you, when we opened up our most recent office, and again, from a corporate perspective, we opened it actually in late October. And we used holiday lighting. Again, no education needed, right? People know what holiday lighting is. Yeah. We use that to ramp up, because if somebody has disposable income to purchase holiday lighting and decor, they're going to be a fit for our misting systems. So it really did provide a really awesome runway for them to be successful starting in the quote unquote bug season by gaining those holiday lighting and decor clients.
Got it. Okay. That makes sense. There's a ton of competition in the holiday lighting. It's like everybody's jumping on board, especially the seasonal businesses, right? Because it's a seasonal business. And it seems that the ones that try holiday lighting only, it's a struggle, because it's hard to like, how do you match that? And so I don't know. It's I don't know if anybody's really figured it out yet, or it's I don't know.
We've been doing it since 2006, and I would encourage people to really do their research, because Brian, you nailed it on the head. Everybody just sees the dollar signs with holiday lighting, and there are so many logistics with holiday lighting.
Yeah. And because it's fit to the person's house, right? And then you sign a 3-year contract, 3-year contract, and then like you're leasing the lights, and then so they have to be high quality lights, and logistically, I could see it being like, you really got to know what you're doing. Otherwise, like, and you got people on ladders and cold, and at least in Philadelphia, maybe not in Jacksonville, but
no, it's
yeah.
true.
So talk about that. Like, what does it take to be successful in there? And then what's the latest someone can sign and have a good season? Because that's the other thing I've heard is people have been rushing and they sign in November, but then they don't have enough runway to actually like really get the business down, and then they're having a challenge, when it gets going. So
yeah, for us, again, we handle all of the sales for our franchisees, so they do not have to worry with the quoting and the what am I going to be purchasing, and how am I going to be selling this, and how am I going to be closing the deal. So, I don't want to overpromise by any means, but
so it's all done remotely. So someone calls in, web lead or whatever, you guys Google Maps trying to figure it out. And
we have a whole data. Yeah, we have a whole database that will basically show us what the house really looks like. Our team of consultants will basically provide to the client some options based on what type of look and feel they want, right? Most people either are a clean and classic look and they want some garland and wreaths and bows and pretty, white lighting, or they're going to be like, I want crazy inflatables and multicolor and, all the custom items. And so our team develops those options for them and quickly closes them. That's one of the hardest things with holiday lights, is the demand is so high, right? Everybody's wanting to do it. And it's a very short window. People don't really think about holiday lighting until Thanksgiving. And then, how would a franchisee,
up in 2 weeks.
Right. So if a franchisee was trying to quote it and sell it and follow up and, order all the products, then they're like, oh shoot, now I have to go and do the work, right? So we just try to make everything really easy and streamlined for them. And that's where our success has come, is we have a proven track record. Like I said, we've been doing this since 2006. A lot of companies try and do this as an add-on, and they don't have the right products. That's another huge benefit. Our product company supplies all of our items for us. So they're very high quality. We know how to store them properly. We know how to fit everything for the client, and we know how to properly communicate when it comes to installations and takedowns. Another important part.
And then do you are they W-2 employees for the franchisee for the labor?
Yep, they're W-2 employees, but what's nice is that you can have a seasonal helper or even a part-time, W-2 employee. So we like to maintain the control. But it's really important to look at the franchisee's specific goals, and then we can hire appropriately based on what that goal is. Because our model can be owner operator, but it also can be semi-active, or it can be full investor model because we have the customer acquisition center for selling.
Got it. Then it's really just managing the team and doing all that. And then I guess does the franchisee need storage facility or small warehouse? Like what can they get away with, or what do you guys do in your smaller markets?
Yep. We do a warehouse model. So there's no need for an office space. Everything can be run from their phone or a tablet, or a laptop, whichever they prefer. But all of our systems are built to be very easy to run while you're on the road. We know that our most successful franchisees are going to be really nurturing their client relationships and their referral partners. So they're going to be out in the field. They're going to be talking with, different individuals and networking and building those relationships. They don't want to be strapped to a desk, right? So small warehouse to get started, and can obviously expand, and starting with just one vehicle. So nothing that is requiring tons of employees, tons of vehicles, and tons of costs.
And the warehouse is for storing, I guess, the chemicals, the misting systems, the holiday lights, all the supplies that you need to do all the installs.
Correct. Yep. The supplies for the installations, pest control, and holiday lighting.
Got it. What's the crew look like to start? How many employees are they starting with?
I think it depends on, like I said, because we can kind of do the three different models. If it's owner operator, and they want to be involved with the installations, it's going to be them. And then they're going to hire kind of like a part-time or seasonal helper.
Okay.
And I should really backtrack, right? Because it depends on the franchisee's goals. That's our step one, is understanding like where do they want to get to and how do they want to grow. And that matrix is going to change. But in the very beginning, owner operator plus like a seasonal helper or a part-time helper. If they are semi-active, then you're going to have a full-time service manager who's running the day-to-day of the business. And then if you're, a fully passive, more investor model, then you're going to need to have a service manager and probably that additional helper.
Yep. Okay. And so how many franchisees do you guys have today?
We're brand new. So That's what's nice is we're 20 years, a closely held company with multiple corporate offices across the U.S. And we launched franchising in January of this year. So we're really excited.
So 3 months ago. Awesome.
Yeah. So we're really excited to kind of be expanding that.
Awesome. So tons of great territories available. Where are the corporate locations, I guess, you would not be available? You said Dallas, Jacksonville. Where are the other ones?
Yep. Orlando, Hilton Head, and we have a few different offices in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. And then, like I said, we have Orlando, and then a pocket in West Coast of Florida as well. Okay. So tons and tons of open territories, which has been a really big hot button, I guess, for everybody.
Yeah, I mean the city, Austin, Charlotte, Nashville, a lot of the major cities, and they sell out really quickly. So
yes.
I'm sure for you guys, I'm sure you got people in the pipeline, and those would be usually the ones that go first because, that's where everybody wants to move and live to. So that's awesome.
Yeah, we've had a lot of great traction. One thing I failed to mention, but is a massive part, is we are one of the brands partnered with Franworth, which has over 500 years of franchise experience. So although we are new to franchising, we're the first to recognize, hey, we know our industry backwards and forwards, but franchising, we have to bring on the best of the best. And so we partnered with Franworth and Frandevco to kind of lead us in that charge. So we have a whole team that helps with onboarding. And I think that's why we've gotten so much traction right out of the gates, is because we have the infrastructure built to support the growth of our franchises.
Yep. Yeah, that's awesome. That's something I talk to a lot, is like, you need both, right? You need industry knowledge and, all the experience from the corporate side, but then you also need franchising knowledge of marketing and sales and training and, the support and the community and the conventions and, all this stuff where it's like kind of agnostic. The industry is agnostic, right?
Yes.
That applies to every franchise. And the brands that struggle usually only have the one. They usually only have the industry knowledge. And then they try to think, I'm going to run my franchise the same way I'm going to run my corporate business. And it's that's a recipe for failure, because franchisees are not employees, they're business owners. And I've seen them try to treat franchisees like their employees, and they tell them like you need to do this. And it's like, whoa.
No,
So
it's so
so it's
true. I
good that
mean,
you guys have lined up partnerships in order to kind of make that happen as you build your kind of that muscle.
yeah, and it's so true. I mean, we're the first to recognize what we're good at and where our strengths lie and where our weaknesses are, and we've already learned so much from our partnership, and they've had extreme success with their brands. So I think the team, right? Just naming a few, Haagen Dazs, Honey Baked Ham, Domino's Pizza, Pure Bar, Lash Lounge, like just so many incredible brands that their team has worked with. And so we feel very honored to be able to support our franchisees that way.
And they help with the strategy kind of in the development. Like what do they help with? I know what Fran Devco, but what does Fran Worth help you with?
Yeah, kind of the whole thing. We're in line. We're partners. So
Okay.
so they help with onboarding. Over 100-point checklist that franchisees go through from the second they sign up, to culture, to our learning management system, to our IT needs, to our vehicle needs. We're working hand in hand, marketing,
Sourcing vehicles.
sourcing
Okay.
vehicles, our marketing efforts, our sales efforts. They basically partnered with us and took a fine tooth comb and went through all of our processes and said, this is what we need to change. This is what's going to help to make franchisees more successful. And for us, selling units, yes, it's great, but the success of our franchisees is how we become profitable, right?
Yep.
So if
Oh, yeah.
it doesn't matter if we sell 100, 500, 1,000 of these units, if our franchisees aren't successful, we aren't. And so that's the biggest thing, was making sure that we have
Yep.
ongoing support for them.
Yeah. Yeah. I know one of the guys over there. Yeah. They do a really good job. And I know there's a ton of different things they help too with from development and real estate. And like, I know they have like multiple divisions, but
Yeah.
um,
Yeah,
that's
for us,
awesome.
luckily, we don't have to deal with the real estate needs, right? Besides the warehouse. But that has been something interesting as talking with other franchisors, is
Yep.
just the,
Yeah. They're working with
and you,
Milkshake Factory, and
yeah,
that one's got like a much bigger build out. You're looking at $800,000, $900,000, whatever it is. And you need, obviously it's a big, nostalgic space, and it's like a completely
right,
different model and feel than, a service-based business, which has different
right.
challenges.
Right. And Brian, obviously you have two
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
concepts that you guys do, right? The painting business and then your
The auto
vehicle
repair.
business. But yeah, auto repair, it's like you have to have physical space for that, So it's just a different strategy of what a franchisee is looking for. And for our model, it definitely aligns with people that are not looking for that retail space.
Yeah. Even now, like we're looking, we want to expand the mice business, and we have a bottleneck of real estate, and we need, especially in the retail business, like we need prime retail space, and it's just hard to find, and it has to be zoned correctly, which adds another layer, and it has to be a certain size, which adds another layer. And it's, or we found one last week, and then the landlord said, I don't want automotive in the space anymore. Like it used to be
Oh,
automotive, and
geez.
now they want retail. And so, yeah, that happens. So it's, even that's like the benefit of, and one of the reasons we got into the painting business in a service business was specifically, we wanted like zero real estate or warehouse, whatever I'm going to buy, but like zero retail real estate, just because it creates this bottleneck,
Right.
especially in, the Northeast and competitive markets, where it's a lot harder to find those prime spots.
Absolutely. Yeah, no. And I mean, it's cool that you've seen both aspects of it, and you're getting to witness that too, as you talk to, potential franchisees, helping navigate that decision, because a lot of people don't think about that as one of the points to look at when there's thousands of options of franchises that people can buy into.
Yeah, and it's back to like the goals, and we're talking to people, and you're talking to people, right? It's like understanding their goals, how big of a business they want to build, and then you kind of have to back into how many locations or how many territories would you need to be able to do that volume to make that money. And if
Right.
it's a retail based business, then it's like, well, how many are available in your market that could reach it? Like if I wanted to get to 20 units or whatever, but there's only 5 is the maximum I could do based from a real estate constraint, that would, you would almost never get there, right?
Right. For sure.
Versus like in a mobile, there is no like boundary there at least from a real estate perspective. Then it's just a matter of
Absolutely.
growing your team and all the stuff. So
Yeah,
um,
absolutely.
awesome, cool. So what's an ideal franchisee look like? Like someone listening to this, like what would be your perfect candidate?
I think from my perspective, like I said, my husband and I opened up our North Florida office from scratch years ago. And I think we have a lot of passion for people that are similar to that are want to be owner operator, are very driven. Yes, of course, this is not a sexy industry, but the revenue and the reoccurring revenue model and the 3-for-1 aspect really provides for that. I think the fact that marketing and sales is also handled for you opens the door for a lot of really great candidates. But I think the people that are going to be most successful are people, right? They are out. They have great social skills. They value a client experience. And those are going to be the types of people that are going to see, MosquitoNIX gone to the next level for them as they embark on this journey. So.
Awesome. Cool. Well, I appreciate you coming on and sharing your story. And I learned a ton here. So I appreciate it. And it sounds like a cool model. So
thank you. I appreciate it, Brian.
Awesome. And so if anybody's listening wants to learn more about MosquitoNIX, they can shoot me a message, Twitter, LinkedIn, email, or if you reach out to them directly, just make sure you tell them you heard it here. And yeah, we provide people a bunch of resources too. So when they start working with you, we give them a whole list of questions so they can grill you on and make sure it's the right thing for them. So
absolutely. Yep. Finding a match made in heaven is the perfect first step.
There you go. All right. Well, thanks again, Jen. It was nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you, Brian.